play matchmaker. We're good at playing matchmaker, matching the business owner that comes to us curious or through introduction and connecting them to the advisor on our team who would be best suited to move the needle in the business based on maybe industry, what they're looking to solve, personality.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Partners and Pours and Exit is Now podcast. My name is Josh Koza and I am the Director of Strategic Relationships here at the Exit Planning Institute. And I'm excited for our guest today, but a little bit about this series really quickly. What we wanted to do with this was showcase to you, the EPI and SEPA community, just who some of our partners are. As we talk about a lot, the SEPA and exit planning isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to everyone, so there's a number of different, it's certainly a multidisciplinary group of advisors, and so regardless of that advisor type, regardless of your background or specialty, you're going to need partners. That might be other advisors, that might be software solutions, that might be M&A platforms, and the purpose of this podcast really is to showcase some of those valuable partners, preferred partners that we have in the network that we would recommend that you connect with. So we're going to talk a little bit today. So today I'm joined by Jeff Armstrong. Jeff is the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Cultivate Advisors. So Jeff, thanks for taking the time to come in.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our relationship goes back a couple years now.
It does.
We met.
Yeah.
At
the summit, I think.
Yeah, it was at the summit. And certainly one of my favorite memories of my time here was when we got to join you guys up in Chicago at the BMW Championships a couple years ago. You guys had the setup there and invited us up, and that was pretty early on. So that was certainly a notable gesture. And so it was pretty cool. But one of the things I like to do when I have this podcast is before we do is Google the company that we're talking about. So I did that. I Googled Cultivate Advisors to see what pops up. And good news, when I Google Cultivate, they are the first thing that pops up, right? And so the text under that says, Cultivate offers a range of small business advisory services, including one-on-one tailored advising, hundreds of resources, and more. So that's what Google tells us that Cultivate is. But in your own words, can you talk a little bit about who your organization is and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. It does go a little deeper than that.
Yeah.
Our whole brand is, all of our business advisors are former business owners who have started, scaled, and successfully exited multi-million-dollar businesses, and now they work alongside other owners who are looking to do something similar. I'd say about 70% of the businesses that we work with are just looking to optimize the business, increase income, owner equity position, the enterprise value, get time back from the business, make entrepreneurship joyful again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And then the other 30% are looking to exit.
Okay.
Typically in 3 to 5 years, or they have a certain number they want to hit and they need help reverse engineering how to get there.
Sure. Yeah.
And so our whole, our vision and belief is that the world's made better by entrepreneurship. So we strive to make the world a better place for entrepreneurs. And we do that through a variety of different mechanisms. Our primary way of doing that is through one-on-one advising. And any business owner that we engage with will slow down and really help them assess the current state of the business. What's the health of the business? What's the enterprise value? Give a light estimation of value of where they're at. And then we'll help them build a roadmap and a plan to the future in a way that connects to the vision and goals of the owner. And we do that as a no-cost service. So it's a way we lead with value. It's a way we help entrepreneurs kind of pull back the curtain on what is one of their biggest blind spots, enterprise value, but also around the health of different aspects of their business. Okay. That's free, and then at that point, the business owner has one of two choices. They can take the plan and run with it, or they can raise their hand and opt into our subscription-based advising, which is how we monetize what we do.
Okay, very cool. You mentioned something there at the beginning of your response. I want to touch on that because I think that's unique. Is all of your advisors today are former business owners themselves. And I think that's probably a unique model in the community, certainly at the scale that you guys have grown the organization. So can you talk a little bit about maybe the decision behind why you go that way strategically and maybe the impact that's had in the community?
Yeah. It's really, I think if you looked in LinkedIn, there's probably like 400,000 business coaches. Most of them probably haven't owned a business. So it was always important to Dan and Casey, the two co-founders of Cultivate, that our business owner, our advisors had to have a been there, done that experience. Sure. We know that the entrepreneurial journey can be very lonely. There's these, dizzying highs and jaw-dropping lows, and they can happen within, 30 minutes of each other.
Sure.
And there's a felt sense of kind of the stress and the burden of being a business owner. So having an advisor that can empathize with that is really helpful. Because we don't judge, we understand business owners are superheroes, but every superhero has a flaw and blind spots. So we just help identify where are those, who's it best to work on our team to close the gap on those. But it really comes from more of a heartfelt place, a place of empathy, of like, hey, we've been in your shoes, we've seen likely a lot of things that you're seeing, and we know that there's blind spots that exist. So it comes from a real kind of heart focused place.
Sure. No, and that's it's got to break down some of the walls or barriers a little bit when you're sitting across the table from a business owner saying, hey, I've been on that side of the table before, right? And here's what I learned. And then maybe it went really well, or maybe it didn't go very well.
Exactly.
And I want to take some of that experience. And so I think that's certainly a connection point. Now, one of the other things we kind of recently learned about your model, it is set up to be almost exclusively or primarily a virtual advising platform. I know you mentioned if a client really wants an in-person meeting, you'll do that. But I think that is maybe not super unique given that we've moved into a virtual world post-pandemic. But I think one of the highlights there is that truly makes you a national value advising firm, right? It doesn't necessarily matter where the advisors are based. You can touch clients anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, we and the cool thing is like when we play matchmaker, it's not based on geography. Part of our secret sauce, and we've been on the Inc. 5,000 for 6 straight years as the fastest growing company. Part of the reason for that is that we play matchmaker. We're good at playing matchmaker, matching the business owner that comes to us curious or through introduction and connecting them to the advisor on our team who would be best suited to move the needle in the business based on maybe industry, what they're looking to solve, personality. Geography is at the bottom of the list there. So it really helps us play matchmaker in a better way. And it helps us keep our costs low. And we learned through COVID, like we can achieve the same results through a virtual advising relationship as we can as in person.
Sure. So when you play matchmaker, I guess, what are some of the things you're looking for? Like, how do you do that? Like when you get a introduction to a business owner saying, here's the ideal advisor that we have.
Yeah.
Like, how does that, like, what kind of things are you looking for?
Yeah, so it's really a 3-step process. The first step is meeting with me. So typically I'm getting a business owner introduction. I'm meeting with the business owner for a 30-minute Zoom call, discovery call, just to learn where they're at, what they're looking to do. I invite them to take our assessment, which is the business health and value assessment. And this starts to put health scores on different areas of their business, because a business owner will walk through that assessment, self-score themselves. They'll get a report card. And it helps us identify like, hey, where should we focus? We take that assessment, we invite them to connect with our head of strategy to review the assessment. She peels back the onion, identifies like where's the low-hanging fruit here? And she'll help them build a plan and a roadmap, but she's pulling it into the advisor through her discovery that she think is best suited. So they'll meet their advisor, most likely the one that's going to work with them if they raise their hand and opt in, before they even sign, and they're working with their advisor, creating a business plan and a roadmap, a prioritized action plan in the SEPA world. And so they get to kick the tires a little bit. Hey, is this a fit? Is this something that I want to engage in? So that's the process, and that's how we identify. It's really through our head of strategy that makes that matchmaking connection.
Very cool. It's a pretty bespoke model then, right? I mean, you're going to find the best match for them for sure. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, so we're talking about the matchmaking, but on the client side, like what does an ideal client look like for Cultivate? Like what are you looking for? Is it size, industry? Like, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're industry agnostic. We're currently in 120 different industries right now with our current community of business owners. So we're agnostic on the business side. Size wise, I'm going to say our sweet spot tends to fall in the $1 to $10 million in annual revenue. We have some that are bigger, some that are smaller. I think our largest is 80 million. We've got a product for businesses that are sub 1 million in revenue. It's a group coaching product. That's not on our website, but it's something that we offer.
Okay.
And then up market from there, we have actually a sister company called Petra, who works more with the C-suite, and actually that's an in-person model, so it's different. Whereas Cultivate works one-on-one with the business owner, Petra works with the C-suite.
Okay. And then talking back to the community, or those maybe listening in today, what is an ideal referral partner? Like, what advisors have you found the most success engaging with out in the community here?
Yeah, within the SEPA community, it's definitely two categories. It's financial advisors and M&A advisors. And so the value prop for a partnership is we help financial advisors really launch that triggering event and that discover gate in a no-cost way. And then we work with them and collaborate when we're working with business owners to increase enterprise value. We're working to help turn that into assets under management for the financial advisor. For the M&A advisor, the value prop's a little different. They talk to so many business owners every year. The vast majority aren't ready to go to market for whatever reason. We can be a soft place to land. They'll make introductions to us. We'll do an assessment. We'll help build them a plan. If they sign on with us, then we're actively working to get them market ready, attractive, exit ready with a higher valuation, and then we reintroduce it back to the M&A advisor for more deal flow.
Okay, so it's almost like a little ecosystem. If you just think about the three advisors you were just talking about, yourself, the value advisor, the financial advisor, and the M&A advisor, right? Because if you're thinking about the value acceleration methodology, we're really focused on identifying the wealth gap for the business owner. So the financial advisors built the financial model, the plan for that owner's next act of their life, and understands the wealth goal. We then have some sort of fair market analysis done on that to understand, is it going to close the wealth gap? Many times we know it isn't for a variety of reasons. And that's a huge opportunity to bring in someone like yourself to say, well, now we're the experts in helping drive the value in that company to close that wealth gap. So it goes back to the M&A advisor, do the deal, assets go to the financial advisor. So I mean, it seems like a pretty clear, simple. I mean, that's probably simplified it a little bit, but I mean, it seems like a pretty good value prop.
It really is, yeah. And it's like what we talked about too, right? With business owners, and when financial advisors are working with business owners, 80% of their wealth is, trapped in the business. That's the big fund. That's their fund that they have direct control over, that they can, influence where it goes. So the business is the big lever to pull.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess when, talking about that ecosystem, when would be the ideal time if I'm a financial advisor, got a business owner client, maybe I haven't started, I just got my SEPA, I haven't necessarily talked to them about this yet. When would be the right time to introduce you or someone on your team into that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it's never too early. Quantifying the asset value. We're interested in working with financial advisors that want to quantify the asset value and are interested in increasing the asset value of the businesses in their portfolio. So if they don't know that number, or if their business owner is guessing, we can help them really get into more of the ballpark of where it truly is, help the business owner understand the multiple range in their industry and what levers they can pull to get to their next level. And we can do that in a no-cost way. It's very low barrier of entry. So any financial advisor that is interested in kind of quantifying that asset value and what levers they can pull, the business owner, is a good introduction for us. And then we invite them into the front end of the process so they can observe. We do kind of a crawl, walk, run approach in partnerships like this. So we start off with them really observing and piloting a business owner through the process so they can understand it, vet us out, and verify that it's a fit in their world. And vice versa.
Sure. Yeah. And then if they wanted to introduce Cultivate to this business owner client, is that someone they should connect with you directly on, Jeff, or someone else on the team
Yeah, there are other Jeffs out there at Cultivate. But yeah, it's me. It's me or somebody on my team, but starting with me, I'm meeting typically with 5 business owners a week, introduced from financial advisors. They're on those calls too. And so in a way, I'm director of first impressions at Cultivate. And then I invite the business owner into the resources and invite both of them into that next step strategy session.
And you said when we were talking yesterday, average sort of engagement length is about 2 years with the business owner client. So, and I think that aligns well with what we talk about is exit strategy is just good business strategy that you should always be planning for the end in mind. We also know that business owners aren't necessarily doing that yet. We're working on it,
right?
But we too often, then there's not a lot we can do if they come and say, "Hey, I need to sell the business now." We can't do a ton, but it sounds like your sweet spot is really being able to drive some significant value into the company in that 1 to 2 year time frame. So if we can engage with that owner 2, 3, 5 years before that potential liquidity event, I think that's what we can really make sure all 3 legs of the stool are aligned and we're maximizing the value of that company.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's tough. There's not much we can do as you said, when a business owner is ready to go to market right now. So we need a bit of a runway, and we can achieve incredible things that would surprise a lot of people of what leverage you can pull to really increase the value of the business and make it exit ready.
Sure. And then I guess I want to close with just a good story from you again mentioned yesterday. I asked, I think sort of tongue in cheek, any of the former business owners you guys have advised become Cultivate Advisors, and you said, actually that did happen. So I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously showed the impact that you had on them. That they said, well, I want to come join your team now. Yeah. So I guess to any of the potential business owners out there, maybe that's your next act. Maybe it's coming on board at
join
Cultivate.
the team. So. Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, I guess any other closing thoughts that you want to share with the community before we wrap up for the day?
Yeah, we love being a part of the EPI community. We love the SEPAs. We love meeting you at the summit. We love just hobnobbing and connecting. But we also are very passionate about helping Sherpa more companies from successful to significant, and significant being the ability to transfer ownership of your business, because most businesses aren't built to sell and transfer ownership. So there's a massive opportunity for everybody in the community to help make that happen.
Love that. I think that's a great way to close. So Jeff, I want to thank you again for taking the time to fly in here to Cleveland, spend some time with us here at the offices, jump on the podcast. Thank you all for listening. I want to make sure you subscribe, listen, and leave a review on all their podcast platforms, and look forward to connecting with you next time. Bye, everyone.